Hey everyone and welcome. Today we're going to talk about a tool that's trying to fix one of the biggest bottlenecks in software development, the code review. We're diving deep into CodeRabbit, an AI assistant that's designed to live right inside your pull requests. So let's kick things off by looking at the exact problem it's trying to solve.
All right, let's start with something every developer has felt before. It really doesn't matter if you're a solo coder or part of a huge team, that manual code review process, man, it can be a massive bottleneck.
Sound familiar? You've got this ever-growing list of open pull requests, and every single one is just sitting there waiting for a human reviewer to find a spare 10 minutes. And this backlog, it doesn't just slow down one feature, right? It creates this domino effect, delaying entire projects and just making everyone feel frustrated.
And the crazy thing is how universal these frustrations are. You get totally inconsistent feedback depending on who happens to grab your review. You're waiting for hours, sometimes even days. And half the time, the feedback is just nitpicking about code style instead of focusing on the real substance, which means that critical bugs or even security risks can totally slip through the cracks. Bottom line, it grinds your developer velocity to a halt, and that's the last thing anybody wants.
So, what if you could bring a totally new kind of teammate onto your squad? You know, one that's designed specifically to smash that bottleneck, works instantly, and best of all, never ever gets tired.
Well, that's CodeRabbit. The best way to think of it is as a tireless assistant that plugs right into your workflow on GitHub, GitLab, you name it. And it's not just scanning for basic errors. It gives you line-by-line suggestions, it can automatically summarize really complex changes, and you can even chat with it and ask questions about the code, all without ever leaving your pull request.
Okay, so let's hit the elephant in the room for any AI tool that touches your code: security. And this quote from their docs is absolutely key. CodeRabbit connects to your repository, sure, but it analyzes your code in real time and streams the suggestions back. It does not permanently store your source code, and that right there is a massive point for building trust.
So that's the what and the why, but what does it actually feel like to use it? Let's walk through that magic moment when you get your very first AI-powered review.
Getting started is actually super straightforward. It's basically a 4-step dance. You authorize CodeRabbit with your Git provider, you tell it which repository to look at, and that's pretty much it. The very next time you open a pull request, CodeRabbit just shows up and gets to work. No fuss.
And this is what it does. So imagine you've pushed some code and you made a simple but really easy to miss typo, like spelling console.log wrong. A human reviewer, especially a busy one, might totally gloss over that. But CodeRabbit, it spots it instantly. And it doesn't just flag an error. It posts a helpful comment explaining what's wrong and gives you the exact fix.
In this right here, this is where the magic really happens. You see the suggestion, you're like, yep, that's right, and you can apply and commit that fix with a single click, all from inside the pull request. You don't have to pull the code, open your editor, make the change, commit, and push again. It's these tiny little interactions that save a massive amount of time and mental energy throughout the day.
But look, catching typos is really just scratching the surface. This thing is not just a smarter linter, it's an interactive assistant that you can actually have a conversation with.
You know that feeling when you're looking at a massive PR with like dozens of files changed? It's tough to get your bearings. Well, by just typing @CodeRabbit summary in a comment, the bot will generate a high-level overview and a technical walkthrough of everything that's changed. It's perfect for getting yourself or a teammate up to speed, like instantly.
Here's another one that's a huge time saver. Let's be honest, we all know we should write documentation, but it's always the first thing we skip when we're in a rush. With this command, you can just ask CodeRabbit to generate complete doc strings for all the new functions in your pull request. It just does the grunt work for you.
Now, a big concern with any automated tool is review noise, right? Especially when you're in the zone pushing a bunch of small commits. CodeRabbit puts you in control here. You can just type the pause command when you're doing heavy work, and then when you're ready for feedback, you just tell it to resume. Simple as that.
Look, a pro tool needs pro controls because no two development teams work the exact same way. So let's see how you can actually customize CodeRabbit to fit your team's specific workflow.
You've basically got two main ways to do this. You can use a .coderrabbit.yaml file that lives right in your repository, which is awesome because your configuration is version controlled right alongside your code. Or, for quicker, repo-specific tweaks, you can just use the web UI. This flexibility is great because it means it can handle both simple and really complex setups.
And this is where it gets really powerful, because you can get super specific.
You can use these path-based rules to tell CodeRabbit, hey, ignore my node modules folder, or don't look at my build files. But even better, you can give it specific instructions for certain files, like telling it to review your test files and check them against the best practices for a specific framework like Mocha. That's pretty cool.
Okay, so the theory and the features sound great on paper. But what are real developers, people in the trenches using this every day, what do they actually think about it? We dug into some user feedback to get a really balanced picture.
This quote from a developer on Reddit really jumped out at us. They praised CodeRabbit's ability to understand the context of the code, not just one line at a time. And I love this last part, that it's been fun to see developers engaging with the AI. That's especially true for more junior devs who can actually learn from its suggestions.
But of course, no tool is perfect. So to be credible, we have to look at both sides. While people absolutely love the contextual understanding, some users find that the amount of feedback, we're talking 50 or more comments on a single PR, can get a little overwhelming. There's also some chatter about it sometimes repeating feedback, so it shows it's a really powerful tool, but it's one that's definitely still evolving with user input.
So all this brings us to the big question, right? Is an AI assistant like CodeRabbit the future of every single pull request? Look, the point here isn't to replace an experienced human reviewer for big, complex architectural decisions. It's about augmenting them. It's about letting the AI handle the cleanup, catch the simple mistakes, and free up your senior developers to focus on the stuff that truly matters. It's like a first line of defense, making sure that by the time a human even sees the code, it's already in a much, much better state. So what do you think?